Hi everyone, in this video I am going to solve Cambridge International AS and A-Level Mathematics Paper 1 Pure Mathematics 1 in a session May-June 2024 Paper 1-3. So let's start with the first question. Question number 1, the coefficient of x squared in the expansion of, we need to find the coefficient of x squared. So first thing we have to open what is 1 plus 3x to the power 10, the binomial expansion for this term till x square. So the first term to the power 10 plus 10c1, the first term power is 9 and the second term power is 1 plus 10c2, the first term power is 8 and the second term power is 2 and so on. Now this is constant term and x square term. We need the coefficient of x square, so it is better to open it till x square. Okay, so 10 to the 1 to the power 10 is just 1. 10c1 is 10 multiply 1 multiply 3 30. So this is 30x. And what is 10c2? 45. 1 to the power 8 is 145 times 1 is 45 and 3 square is 9 to times by 9. So this is 405 x square and so on. Okay, now let me take the product. 2 minus 5x to the power 1 plus 3x to the power 10. So 2 minus 5x, and let me write down its expansion, which is 1 plus 30x plus 405x square and so on. Okay, now we have to distribute 2 on 1 plus 30x plus 405x square and so on, and minus 5x is distributed 1 plus 30x plus 405x square and so on. Okay, so if we distribute 2, this is a constant x and x square term, right? So just let me just figure out the x square terms. X square terms, 2 distribute to 1 is a constant term, x square term and x square term. So x square terms are 2 into 405 x square. This is the x term and x square term. Minus 5x distribute to 30x. You will get x square term, right? Okay, 2 into 405 is 810x square, and 5 times 30 is 150 minus 150 x square. So 810 minus 150 is 660 x square. Okay, so this implies the coefficient of x square is 660. Question number 2. The diagram shows the curve y equals to k cos x minus pi by 6, where k is a positive constant and x is measured in radians. Okay, x is measured in radians. The curve crosses the x-axis at point A. The curve crossed the x-axis at point A. It means the y component is equals to 0. Okay, and B is the minimum point. Find the coordinates of A and B. Okay, so first thing first, we need to figure out the coordinates of A. Coordinates of A. So in order to figure out the coordinates of A, as we have given that the curve crosses the x-axis at point A. When the curve crosses the x-axis at point A, it means the y should be equals to 0. So when y is equals to 0 in the equation of curve, we have y is equals to k cos x minus pi over 6. Okay, now y is 0, which is k cos x minus pi by 6. So 0 over k is cos x minus pi by 6. All right, let me do the further steps. 0 by k is just 0, so we can say cos of x minus pi by 6 is equals to 0. Okay, cos is 0 at what values? So we need to figure out cos is 0 on what value. So this is a cosine curve basically. So if I can draw the cosine curve, let me draw the curve. Okay, it starts from the maximum, which is 1, 0, minimum 0. I'm also completing the two curves, right? Okay, so the cos maximum point is 1 and its minimum point is negative 1. Okay, this is a graph for y equals to cos x. All right, and one complete cycle of cos is 2 pi. If this point is 2 pi, then this point is pi, and sorry, pi is over here. Okay, so as we know, the maximum point for cos is 1, the minimum point for cos is minus 1. From one maximum to another maximum is one complete cycle, and one complete cycle equals to the period, and period of cosine function is 2 pi. If this is 2 pi for the maximum, the minimum should be pi, and this is pi by 2. This point is pi by 2, 2 pi by 2, this point is 3 pi by 2, and 4 pi by 2 gives you 2 pi, this is 5 pi by 2, and this point is 6 pi by 2, which is 3 pi. 6 pi by 2 is 3 pi, and then this point is 7 pi by 2, and so on. Okay, now as you can see, the point A, this is the first point where the cos function is 0, and this is the second point where the cos function is 0, right? So this is your second point. So the second point we have to pick for the base function. The cos is 0 at pi by 2, the cos is 0 at 3 pi by 2, the cos is 0 at 5 pi by 2, and so on. But which point we have to pick? The first one is not the A, the second one is the A. So in this case, we have to pick the second one, which is 3 pi by 2. So we can say cos of x, this is x minus pi by 6, is equals to cos inverse of 0. So cos inverse of 0 is x minus pi by 6 is equals to 3 pi by 2. And what is x? X is 3 pi by 2 plus pi by 6. Let me simplify. So 3 pi by 2 plus pi by 6, which is 5 pi by 3. 5 pi over 3. Okay, so for A, what are the coordinates of A? So we have done with the coordinates of A. The x coordinate is 5 pi over 3 and the y coordinate is 0. So the coordinates of A, we can write it down over here, which is 5 pi over 3 and 0. These are the coordinates for A. Okay, so I hope this is clear why I picked the second value. As you can see, this A is basically the second x-intercept for this function. This is the first x-intercept, this is the second x-intercept, this is a third one, this is a fourth one. So for the base function, we also have to pick the second x-intercept. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to find the coordinates for B. Okay. Coordinates of B. Okay, as we know that B is the minimum point, we can say since B is a minimum point and for cosine function the minimum point is negative 1, right? Maximum point is 1, the minimum point is minus 1. So in this case, for this equation, the maximum point is k and the minimum point is negative k. Okay, so this is the maximum, this is k, and this point is the minimum, which is negative k. So here we have the k and here we have minus k. So the y coordinate for b is minus k. Since b is a minimum point and cosine function minimum sorry value is at y is equals to minus 1. Okay, so for y is equals to k cos x minus pi over 6, minimum point is y is equals to negative k, right? So how I get y equals to negative k? So as you guys can see, for cosine function, the maximum point is 1, the minimum point is minus 1. And for this function, the maximum point is k and the minimum point is negative k. So negative k is basically the y coordinate of the minimum point. So when y value is negative k, just substitute over here and solve for the x value. Okay, so in the curve, when y value is negative k, put over here minus k equals to k cos of x minus pi by 6. Okay, so now we can cancel k with k. Minus 1 is left. Minus 1 is equals to cos of x minus pi by 6. Now we have to check that cos at what value gives you negative 1. Okay, so you can see cos is negative 1 at pi, at 3 pi, right? And so this is negative 1. Cos x is minus 1 when we have pi and when we have 3 pi. And when you can compare this diagram with the given function, so this point is the second point. This is the first minimum, this is the second minimum point. So we have from the base function, we also have to select the second minimum point. This is the first minimum point, this is your second minimum point, and its x coordinate is 3 pi. So cos is negative 1 at 3 pi, at pi, and so on. So we have to pick the second minimum point. Okay, so here we can say x minus pi by 6 would be cos inverse of negative 1, and cos is negative 1 again at pi and at 3 pi, right? So since this b is this is the first minimum, this is the second minimum, so we have to pick the second minimum from this function, this curve, which is 3 pi. So cos is minus 1 at 3 pi. So x minus pi by 6 is equals to 3 pi. What is x coordinate? Which is 3 pi plus pi by 6. Let me simplify this. 3 pi plus pi by 6, which is 19 pi over 6. This is 19 pi over 6. Now we can write down the coordinates of b, which is the x coordinate is 19 pi over 6 and the y coordinate is negative k. So these are the coordinates for b. And the other one are the coordinates for a. This is a coordinate for a. All right. Now for part B, find the exact value of t, the exact value of t that satisfies the equation. All right. Okay, so this is 3 sine inverse of 3t plus 2. What is cos inverse of 1 by 2 root 2 or root 2 over 2? Let me check. It is in radians. Yes, cos inverse root 2 divided by 2, which is pi by 4. So times pi by 4 is equals to pi. Okay, so we have 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 3 sine inverse of 3t is plus pi by 2 is equals to pi, and 3 sine inverse of 3t is equals to pi minus pi by 2. Okay, so we can say pi minus pi by 2. Sorry. Pi by 2, which is pi by 2. All right. Now further simplification, we can divide both sides by 3. So sine inverse of 3t is equals to pi by 2 multiply by 3, that is pi by 6. Now what is 3t? 3t would be equals to sine of pi by 6. 3t is equals to sine pi over 6. What is sine pi by 6? 1 by 2. 3t is equals to 1 over 2, and what is t? T would be equals to 1 by 2 times by 3. So from here t is 1 over 6. So this is the exact value for t. Question number 3. The diagram shows a sector of a circle with center C. C is the center, and this is a sector of a circle. The radii CA and CB each have length r centimeter. These two radii have length r centimeter, and the size of the reflex angle ACB, A, C, and B, that reflex angle is theta radians. The sector shaded in the diagram has a parameter of 65 centimeter. So the shaded parameter is 65. Okay, and an area of 225 centimeter square. Okay, so we have given the shaded parameter and the shaded area. Part A, find the values of r and theta. By using these two information, the shaded parameter and the shaded area, we can easily find out the values for r and theta. So as we have given that the parameter is a sum of the arc AB and the two radii. Arc length AB plus CA plus CB. The two radii are R and R. Okay. So the parameter we have given is 65, and that is equals to arc length is radius times theta, and this is radius and this is radius. So radius is r and theta is just theta. Okay, so 65 is equals to radius times theta plus 2 times of radius, right? Okay, so from here we can solve for, I'll keep this as it is. This is my first equation. Now using the second information that we have area. So area, this shaded area is area of a sector A, C, A and B, right? So area of sector CAB, that is would be the shaded area. So as we know, the shaded area we have given is 225, and that area is half radius squared theta. Radius is also r and theta is just theta. Okay, so from here you can solve for r or solve for theta and substitute into the first equation to get the value for the other unknown. Okay, so 225 multiplying by 2 gives you radius squared theta. If I can do 225 times by 2 is 450, which is radius square and theta. So it is better to take a theta value and substitute over here. So 450 divided by radius square, you will get theta. That is my second equation. Okay, so now we can say put equation 2 in equation 1. Okay, so equation 1 becomes 65 equals to r times theta is 450 over r square plus 2r. Now this whole equation is in r. We have to solve for radius, right? So we can say this r and this r is cancelled out. We are left with 65 equals to 45 over r plus 2 times of r. And 65 equals to 450 plus 2 r times r would be r square divided by r. Now we can do a cross multiplication. 65r equals to 450 plus 2r square. It's 450, sorry. Now shift this term on the other side. This becomes 2r square minus 65r plus 450 equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation in r. Okay, you can factorize it or apply a quadratic formula. So I guess it's better to apply a quadratic formula. So r is equals to minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac divides 2 times of a. The a value is the coefficient of r square, which is 2, b value is a coefficient of r minus 65, and c is a constant term 450. Let me plug everything into the formula. So r would be equals to negative of b plus minus square root b value square minus 4 times a times c divides 2 times of a. So r is equals to, this is positive of 65. Let me simplify. Minus 4 times 2 times 450 minus 3600, and add 65 square, which is 625, and root of answer is 25. So plus minus 25, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now we have two values for radius. Let's see. R is 65 plus 25 divided by 4. R is 65 minus 25 divided by 4. 65 plus 25 divided by 4 is 45 over 2, 2.25. 45 divided by 2, or 2.22.5. 65 minus 25 divided by 4 is 10. The radius is 10 over here. Now substitute the two values of radius over here and solve for theta. So, okay, so which is 450 over radius square is theta. Okay, put r values in equation 2. Okay, so we have theta is equals to 450 over radius square, right? 450 divided by radius square, which is 222.5 square, and is the answer 22.5 square, and 450 divided by answer is 8 over 9, or 0.8, 0.89. Okay, now for other value of theta, which is 450 over radius square 10 square. 450 10 square is 100. 450 divided by 100 is 9 by 2, or 4.5. Okay, so there must be one value for radius and one value of theta, not two values for radius and two values of theta. Keep it in mind, right? So when the radius is 22.5, the theta value is 0.8689. When radius is 10, the theta is 4.5. Okay, so look at the diagram. So this is a theta, and this theta value is, this whole circle is 2 pi. So this value is more than pi, right? So more than 180 degrees. So if I can draw the straight line, so this straight line, right, from this point till this point is pi, right? So this value of theta is greater than pi. So what is pi? Pi value is 3.14. Theta should be greater than 3.14. So its value should be more than 3.14 according to the diagram. So this value of theta is not acceptable. This value of theta is acceptable. So the only solution is r is 10 and theta is 4.5. That value of theta is acceptable. The other value of theta is not acceptable, because the value of theta should be more than 3.14, more than pi. And this value is 0.89, it is less than pi. So this is not the acceptable solution. Now this radius is 10 centimeter and theta value is 4.5. Okay. Moving to part B, find the area of the triangle ACB. ACB, this is the triangle. If I can draw the triangle and find out its area, so connect them. So area of the triangle find out this angle between them. If I can draw the triangle separately over here and figure out what is its area. Okay, A, B, and C. So A to C is 10, B to C is 10, and what is that angle? This side length is 10, this side length is 10. This angle is from the whole 2 pi subtract 4.5. 2 pi minus 4.5. Okay. So area of a triangle has a formula. Area of triangle is half AB sine C. This formula I'm going to use. This is length A, this is length B, and this is angle between them. So we can say area is half. The two sides are 10 into 10, and sine of the angle between the two sides. Let me find out their angle. 2 pi minus 4.5, 1.78. 1.78. Okay, so sine of answer, multiply by 10, multiply by 10, divided by 2, which is 48.87. So the area rounded to one decimal place is 48.9 centimeter square. That is the area of the triangle ABC. Question number 4, part A, show that the equation can be written in the form where A, B, C are integers to be found. Okay. So this equation is in sine square, sine, and constant. So it is in sine basically, right? Okay. So we can say cos of theta into 7. Tangent is sine over cos, sine theta over cos theta minus 5 cos theta equals to 1. I just opened the tangent, which is sine over cos. The rest of the term stays the same. So this is cos theta, and this is 7 sine theta minus 5 cross multiplied. 7 sine theta is already divided with the cos. So cross multiplied, cos with cos is cos square theta. This whole thing divide cos theta, and that is equals to 1. So this cos and this cos is cancelled out. We are left with 7 sine theta minus 5 cos square theta equals to 1. Now we need to convert this equation into sine. So convert the cos square into, right. So cos square theta is 1 minus sine square theta, according to the identity that cos square plus sine square equals to 1. Right. So plug the value 7 sine theta minus 5 cos square is 1 minus sine square equals to 1. So 7 sine minus 5 plus minus times minus is plus 5 sine square minus 1 equals to 0. I shifted the 1 as well. So this is 5 sine square plus 7 sine, and minus 5 minus 1 is minus 6 equals to 0. So this is in the form of a sine square plus b sine plus c. So a is 5, b is 7, and c is negative 6. A, b, c are integers. So that is the solution. Moving to part B, hence solve this equation from 0 to 180 degree. So now cos theta 7 tan theta minus 5 cos theta equals to 1. Now theta is replacing with 2x. This whole thing, you can see, if I can compare, make a comparison of this thing with this equation, your theta is replacing with 2x, right? So this whole thing can be written in that form, right? Okay. So we can say cos 2x 7 tan 2x minus 5 cos 2x equals to 1 can be written as 5 sine square theta, which is 2x, plus 7 sine theta, which is 2x, minus 6 equals to 0. Okay, so this equation is a quadratic equation in sine. We can factorize it or we can apply a quadratic formula. Okay, it is better to factorize it because factorization is simple. 5 times minus 6, negative 30. Okay, 3 times minus 3 times 10 is minus 30, and minus 3 plus 10 gives you 7. You can break them at down. So 5 sine square 2x. This 7 is break with minus 3 and 10. So minus 3 with sine 2x and plus 10 with sine 2x. And minus 6 is as it is. So from first two terms you can take sine 2x common. Here 5 sine 2x is left and minus 3 is left. From these two terms you can take 5 and 3, taking 2 common. 2 times 5 is 10 and 2 times 3 is 6. These two factors are same. So the factors are 5 sine 2x minus 3 and the other factor is sine 2x plus 2 equals to 0. This implies put both factors separately equals to 0. So 5 sine 2x minus 3 is equals to 0 and sine 2x plus 2 equals to 0. So from here 5 sine 2x equals to positive 3 and sine 2x is 3 by 5. And here sine 2x is minus 2. Okay. Now we need to solve the values. This here the sine equation is positive and here the sine is negative and the domain we have given is from 0 to 180 degree. So let me draw the coordinate diagram and let's see in which quadrant sine is positive and which it is negative. So if I can draw the coordinate diagram, you guys can see. According to the coordinate diagram, all trigonometric ratios are positive, sine positive, tan positive, and cos is positive. The domain we have given is from 0 to 180 degree. So just use the first two quadrants. Okay. All right. This operation is theta, and this is in radians, degrees, 180 degree minus theta. Okay, theta is basically the base angle. Now, sine is positive in first and second, sine is negative in third and fourth. Third and fourth quadrant are not included in the given domain, right? And if you can also simplify, find the base angle for this, you can see sine inverse. Okay, let me convert my calculator into degree mode first because the domain is in degrees. Okay, sine inverse of 2, if I find out the base angle, sine inverse of 2 is error. Sine value is between 1 and minus 1, right? The range of sine and cosine is between 1 and minus 1, so no solution from here because range of sine is minus 1 is less than sine is less than 1. The range of the sine is from 1 and minus 1. This value is more than 1. So sine of 2 or minus 2 does not exist. So you will get the only solution from here. All right. Okay, so here we can get the solutions. So sine of 2x is 3 over 5. Okay. So 2x is sine inverse of 3 over 5. This is in degrees. So what is sine inverse of 3 by 5? 36.86 degrees. Okay. So this 2x is 36.86 or rounded to 36.9 degrees. This is my base angle. Okay. Now, according to the given domain 0 to 180 degree, we can see sine is positive in first and second quadrant, right? So we have to find out the solutions. So we can say sine is positive in first quadrant. What is the solution for the first quadrant? Since angle is basically x, not theta, right? In the question, it is x, not theta. So the value for the first quadrant is the base angle. So what is the base angle? The base angle is 2x equals to 2x is equals to 36.9 degrees, and solving for x, which is 36.9 degrees divided by 2. This is your first quadrant solution. Divided by 2, 18.4 degrees. This is 18.4 degrees. Okay. And sine is also positive in the second quadrant. Since sine is positive in the second quadrant, what is operation for the second quadrant? We can do 180 minus that base angle. So 180 degree minus the base angle. The base angle is 2x, which is 36.9 degrees. So for first quadrant, angle 2x equals to the base angle, and solving for x, and the second quadrant 2x equals to 180 minus the base angle. This is 2x, right? So 180 degree minus 36.9, which is 143.1. So angle 2x equals to 143.1. So x would be equals to 143.1 divided by 2. So divided by 2, this is 71.55, or x is equals to 71.6 degrees. So we have the two solutions. X is equals to 18.4 degrees and 71.6 degrees. So these are the two solutions for x, which is between 0 and 180 degree. Right. So as you can see here, the theta value is basically 2x, right? So for each quadrant, 2x equals to first quadrant, 2x is equals to the base angle. 2x is the base angle. This is a base angle. 2x is 180 minus the base angle. So this 2x is 180 minus the base angle, and then solving for x. I hope this makes sense now. Question number 5. The equation of a curve is, part A, find the coordinates of the stationary points. For stationary points, we have to put first derivative equals to 0 and solve for x and the y coordinates, right? So we have given y, find out dy over dx. So what is y? Y is 2x square minus 1 over 2 x to the power minus 1 and plus 3. Find out its derivative. I just shifted this power x, 1 over x to x to the power minus 1, 2. X square derivative is 2x minus 1 by 2 is a constant term. Applying the power rule, so power base power minus 1, and derivative of x is 1, and derivative of constant is 0. This is 4x, and this is minus times minus is plus 1 by 2 and over x square, which was x to the power minus 2 shift to the denominator. So this is the derivative, right? Now we can say for stationary points, first derivative equals to 0. Dy over dx should be equals to 0. And when first derivative equals to 0, it means 4x plus 1 over 2x square. This is equals to 0. Let me solve it. So this becomes 2 times 4 is 8, x cube plus 1 over 2x square equals to 0. 2x square times by 0 is 0. So 8x cube plus 1 is equals to 0. So what is x cube? X cube is negative 1 over 8. Okay, to solve for x, taking a cube root on both sides. So cube root of this and cube root of this. Okay, what is x? So the cube root of negative 1 over 8 is minus 1 by 2. This is x coordinate. When we got the x coordinate, we can easily get the y coordinate by plug the x into the equation of curve. We have given the equation of curve, just plug the value. So y would be equals to 2, x values minus 1 by 2, square minus 1 over 2, x value is 1 by 2, and plus 3. Okay, so y is equals to 2 into minus 1 divided by 2 square. This is 1 by 2, and 2 times 1 by 2 minus 1 divided by answer is minus 1 plus 3. Okay, minus 1 plus 3 is 2, and plus 1 by 2, 5 by 2. Wait a second, it's negative 1 by 2, so it's cancelled out. Minus 1 is minus 1, so it's plus 1. Okay, and 1 by 2 add 4, which is 9 by 2. Sorry. So now we can say the coordinates of the stationary points, the xy coordinates, the x coordinate is minus 1 by 2 and the y coordinate is 9 by 2. This is a coordinate of the stationary points. Okay. Now for part B, determine the nature of the stationary point. Nature of the stationary point, it means take the second derivative. For nature, we have to find out the second derivative. So this is the first derivative, right? Let me find out the second derivative. d2y over dx square, which is 4 is a constant, x derivative is 1. So 4 into 1 plus 1 by 2 is a constant, x to the power minus 2 derivative is minus 2, x to the power minus 2 minus 1, right? So here we have 4. This 2 is cancelled with 2, minus 1 over x cube. This is a second derivative. Now to determine the nature for the second derivative, we can say d2y over dx square at x is equals to minus 1 by 2. For the, because the stationary point is minus 1 by 2 and 9 over 2. These are the coordinates, so the stationary point only need x value. 4 minus 1 over minus 1 over 2 cube. Bracket minus 1 over 2 cube. Okay, and this becomes 4 minus 1 over minus 1 over 8. Minus 1 over 8. So we can say minus 1 divided by answer is 8. So 4 plus 8, that is 6, 12. 12 is greater than 0. So this is a minimum stationary point. So it is minimum. It is minimum. Why it is minimum? Because its second derivative is y double prime is greater than 0. Now for part C, for positive values of x, keep in mind that only for the positive values of x determine whether the curve shows a function that is increasing, decreasing, or neither. Give a reason for your answer. Okay, so the curve shows a function when the when the function is increasing. Okay, when the dy over dx is greater than 0, the function is increasing. And when dy over dx is less than 0, the function is decreasing. And when there is no behavior, that is an either one, right? So increasing, decreasing function deals with the first derivative. So let me write down the first derivative. What is dy over dx? Which is 4x plus 1 over 2x square when x is greater than 0. For positive values of x, it is given in the question. For positive values of x, we need to determine whether the curve shows a function that is increasing or decreasing. For increasing, its derivative is positive. For decreasing, its derivative is negative for positive values of x. Let's see. Okay, so when we put the positive values of x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till positive infinity. 4 times that is positive, right? And this is x square term. Whether you put a positive numbers or negative number, this is also positive. So the whole thing is positive. So we can say as 4x is greater than 0 for all values of x greater than 0. When you pick any value of x greater than 0, this thing is positive. Also, 1 over 2 x square. This is a square term. This is also positive for all values of x greater than 0, right? If this is positive, this is positive, this whole thing is positive. This implies dy over dx is greater than 0. So when the derivative is greater than 0, this implies the function is increasing. Function is increasing. Question number 6. A curve passes through the point and is such that its first derivative is given. Part A, find the equation of curve. Okay. Since we have given the first derivative, we can easily figure out the equation of curve. So we have given dy over dx, which is equals to minus 20 into 5x minus 3 to the power negative 2. So to find y, integrate both sides with respect to dx. Dx is cancelled, derivative integral is cancelled out. We are just left with y is equals to negative 20 is a constant. Find out the power rule of integration, which is 5x minus 3 to the power minus 2 plus 1 divides minus 2 plus 1, multiply 1 over the derivative of 5x minus 3 is just 5 plus some constant of integration. Okay, now y is equals to minus 20 5x minus 3 to the power negative 1 over negative 1 multiply 1 over 5 plus c. So this negative and negative is cancelled out. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 4 is 20. So y value is 4 into 5x minus 3 to the power minus 1 plus the constant of integration. Okay, now to get the constant of integration, as we have given that the curve passes through this point. So mean this point lies on the curve. If this point lies on the curve, this point must satisfy the curve. So use the point minus 4 over, no, positive 4 over 5 and negative 3. So y values negative 3 equals to 4 into 5. X values 4 over 5 minus 3 to the power negative 1 plus c. Okay. 5 is cancelled with 5. 4 minus 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 to the power anything is 1. So this is just 4. So minus 3 equals to 4 plus c. So minus 3 minus 4, this is your c value, that is negative 7. So now we can say the equation of curve is y is equals to 4 over 5x minus 3 minus the constant of integration 7. That is the equation of curve. Now for part B, the curve is transformed by stretch in x direction by a scale factor of 1 by 2. Now there is a stretch in x direction with the scale factor of 1 by 2. Okay, when you have a scale factor in y direction, when you have a stretch in y direction, your scale factor stays the same. But when you have a stretch in x direction, you have to do the reciprocal of the scale factor, right? So it means y is equals to f of ax. The x values is multiplying with a. This is a scale factor. Okay, followed with the translation of 2 and 10, write the equation of the new curve. Okay, so the equation of curve was y equals to 4 over 5x minus 3 minus 7. Okay, so the first transformation we have to apply is stretch in x direction, stretch in x direction by a scale factor of 1 by 2. Okay, so means y would be equals to 4 over 5 is outside, the x term is just multiplying with 2x minus 3 and negative 7. Okay, now the second transformation we have to apply is a translation. So when you do a translation, which is 2 is a horizontal translation, 10 is the vertical translation. So the curve is y equals to 4 divides 2, 5 times 2 is 10 x, okay, and x is multiplying with -2, -3 is outside, -7 and +10. This +10 is the um, vertical translation. So vertical translation is whole with the function plus that or minus that vertical translation, right? And the horizontal translation is only with the x value. Now 5 times 2 is 10, 10 is outside, 10x. So this is x minus 2 now, right? Let me simplify the curve further. So this would be y is equals to 4 over 10x minus 20 minus 3 and plus 3, because from 10 take away 7 is +3. So here we can say y is equals to 4 over 10x minus 23 plus 3. This is the equation of curve after the two transformations. -20 minus 3 is -23. Question number 7. The first term of an arithmetic progression is 1.5. It is an arithmetic progression, and the first term we have given is 1.5. That is the A value. And the sum of the first 10 terms, the sum of first 10 term, this is as 10. Part A, find the common difference, the D value. Okay. So for arithmetic progression, the term formula is Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. And the sum formula is n over 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D. Okay. So as we know that the first term A value over here is 1.5. Okay. All right. And okay, sum Sn formula. S10 we have given n value is 10, A is 1.5, n is 10, and solve for D just. Okay. So this implies S10 is 127.5 is equals to n over 2, 10 by 2 into 2 times the A value is 1.5 plus 10 minus 1 into D. We have to solve for D just. So 127.5, 2 times 5 is 10, and what is 2 into 1.5? 3. This is 3 plus 9D. Okay. So dividing both sides by 5. 127.5 divided by 5 is equals to 3 plus 9D. 127.5 divided by 5 is 25.5. Minus 3 would be 9D. So subtract 3 is 22.5. So 22.5 divided by 9 is your D value. 2 by 5 or 2.5. Sorry, 5 by 2 or 2.5. 5 by 2 or 2.5. So here we can say the D value is 2.5. This is the value for the common difference when we have given the sum of first 10 terms and the first term of the progression. Moving to part B, find the sum of all terms of the arithmetic progression whose values are between 25 and 100. So basically we need to figure out that which term has a value, which n and which nth term has a value 25 and which nth term has a value 100. Okay, so if we can use a formula for arithmetic progression, the term formula is Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. We have A, which is 1.5, and D we just solved, which is 2.5. So use these two informations, right? Okay, so which n term has 25? So we can say let Tn is 25. So 25 is equals to 1.5 plus n minus 1 into D is 2.5, right? So 25 minus 1.5 is equals to 2.5 n minus 2.5. Okay, 25 minus, I just shift this 1.5 on the other side. So 25 minus 1.5 is 23.5, and then add 2.5 and divide by 2.5. This is your n value. Add 2.5 divides 2.5. The n value is 10.4. 10.4. So means the 10th term, basically the 10th term is has a value 25. Okay. Now the second, we can say let Tn is 100. So we need to figure out at which value of n it is 100. So if Tn is 100, so just substitute it over here. This is 100 equals to a value is 2.1.5, sorry, 1.5 plus n minus 1 d value is 2.5. So this is 100 equals to 1.5 plus 2.5 times n minus 2.5. 1.5 minus 2.5. Negative 1. 100 equals to 2.5 n minus 1. From 100 add 1. This is 2.5 n. 100 plus 1 is 101. Divides 2.5 is your n value. 101 divides 2.5. This is 40.4. So n is 40.4. Okay. So we can say this implies 10th value is 25, and here we can say 40th value is 100. Okay, now we need to find out the sum of all terms of the arithmetic progression whose values are between 25 and 100. So means the 10th value, the 10th term is basically 25, and the 40th term is 100. So we have to find the sum of the term the 10th and between the 10th and the 40th term. We have to find the sum of those terms. Okay, so I will show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so if I can say here we have, this is from 0 till 40. Okay, and here we have, let's say 10. Okay, so first thing, if I can, this thing is S40. This whole thing is S40, the sum of first 40 terms, right? And this thing is S10, the sum of first 10 terms. How can we find out the sum between the 10th and the 40th term? Right? Because the 10th term gives you the value of 25 and the 40th term gives you the value of 100, right? We need to find the sum of all those values which are between 25 and 100, the sum of these two. From the whole sum, subtract this, you will get sum of these two. So the sum of these two will be S40 minus S10. You will get the sum of all the terms which are between 25 and 100. I hope this is clear now, right? So we need to find S40 minus S10. Okay. So we can say S40 minus S10. This is the sum of all terms whose values are between 25 and 100. Okay. So what is Sn? N by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d, right? So S40 is 40 divided by 2 into 2 times of a value is 1.5 plus 40 minus 1 into d value is 2.5. Let me solve for S40. 40 minus 1 is 39. 39 times 2.5 is 97.5, and this thing add into 2 times 1.5. Okay, this thing multiply with 40 divided by 2, so S40 is 2010. Okay, now what is S10? The sum of first 10 terms, which is 10 by 2 into 2a plus 10 minus 1 into d. 10 minus 1 is 9 times 2.5. This thing add with 2 times 1.5. Multiply by 10 divided by 2 is equals to 127.5. All right, now we need to figure out what is S10. S40 minus S10. This is S40, this is S10. S40 is 2010 minus 127.5. 2010 minus 127.5, and that is equals to 1882.5. So this is the solution. S40 minus S10 is 1882.5. Question number 8. A circle with equation meets the y-axis at points A and B. Okay, so let me visualize this. So we have a circle, right? It meets the y-axis. Okay, so that's the circle. It meets the y-axis. Y-axis is basically the vertical axis. Let's say this is the y-axis. It meets the y-axis at point A and B, right? The point A and the point B. It meets the y-axis at point A and at point B. Okay. The tangents to the circle at A and B. So at point A, there is a tangent to the circle. At point B, there is a tangent to the circle. It meets at point P. The tangent to the circle at A and the tangent to the circle at B, both the tangents meet at point P. Find the coordinates of P. We need to find the coordinates for P. So first thing first, we need to figure out what are the coordinates for A and the coordinates of B. And then we have to figure out the equation of tangent at A, equation of tangent at B, and their point of intersection would be the coordinates of B. Okay, so let's start doing with the, okay, coordinates of A and B. The circle meets y-axis, meets y-axis, it means x should be equals to 0. If the circle meets y-axis, x should be equals to 0 in whole circle. So this x is 0, we have y square minus 6x is 0 plus 2y and minus 15. This is equals to 0. Okay. Now we can factorize it. 1 times 15 is 15. 3 times 5 is 15, and from 5 take away 3 is 2. Y square plus 5y minus 3y minus 15 equals to 0. What I did, 1 times minus 15 is minus 15. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15, and from 5 take away 3 is 2. Right? Now y is common. Y plus 5 is left. Negative 3 is common. Y plus 5 is left equals to 0. Okay. The two factors are y plus 5 and y minus 3. This is equals to 0. So y plus 5 is equals to 0, or we can say y minus 3 is equals to 0. From here the y value is negative 5 and here the y value is positive 3. Okay, so now the coordinates of A and B, we got the coordinates for A and B. So A coordinates are x value is 0 and the y value is 3. The B coordinates are x value is 0 and the y value is negative 5. We got the coordinates for A and B. Okay. Now, the next thing is to find out the equation of tangent at point A and then at point B. Okay. So we have the point. For equation of tangent, we need the point and we need the gradient, the slope. Okay, so how can we find out the slope, the gradient? Okay, so for this, it is better to find out the center of a circle. Okay, after finding out the center of a circle, we know that the center to this point is the radius. Gradient of radius and gradient of tangent are perpendicular to each other. We can easily get the gradient of tangent. Yes. Okay. So right, let me write down the equation of circle now. Equation of circle, which is x square minus 6x plus y square plus 2y minus 15 equals to 0. Let me complete its square and find out the center. Okay. So in order to complete the square, we can say x square minus 2 into x into 3 gives you minus 6x plus 3 square and minus 3 square. And then y term is y square plus 2 into y into 1. This gives you 2y plus 1 square and minus 1 square, and minus 15 is outside. Combine these three terms, which is x minus 3 whole square minus 9 plus this first three terms is y plus 1 whole square minus 1 minus 15 equals to 0. Okay, minus 1 minus 15 minus 9 minus 25. X minus 3 whole square plus y plus 1 whole square equals to positive 25, and we move the terms on the right side. Okay, so from here, what is the center of a circle? The center of a circle is 3 and minus 1. The x coordinate is 3 because x minus the coordinate, y minus the coordinate. That would be the center. So we got the center of a circle, which is 3 and minus 1. So this is the center of a circle. Okay. Now we have to find out the gradient of CA and CB. We have the coordinates for C, we have the coordinates for C and A both, right? So this would be the gradient of radius. Okay, so the next thing is gradient of CA. Gradient of C is basically equals to gradient of radius. Okay. So we can say the gradient of CA is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so the coordinates of C and the coordinates of A. C to A. 3 my y. This is okay, so if you can say C, let me write that down over here. C coordinates are 3 and minus 1. A coordinates are 0 and 3. This one is x1, y1, x2, y2. Y2 minus y1, 3 minus minus 1, 3 minus minus 1 over x2 minus x1. Here we have 3 plus 1 divided by negative 3. So 4 over 3. So minus 4 by 3 is the gradient of CA. Okay, if the gradient of CA is minus 4 over 3, then what is the gradient of tangent at A is 3 by 4 negative, and the reciprocal of 4 by 3 is 3 by 4. Why? Because radius is perpendicular to the tangent, right? So because radius is perpendicular to the tangent, this is the reason why their gradients are negative reciprocals of each other, because these two lines are perpendicular. Now let me write down the equation of tangent. Equation of tangent at A. A coordinates are 0 and 3, right? So equation of tangent is basically y minus y naught is equals to the gradient into x minus x naught. This x naught is 0, y naught is 3, and the gradient is 3 by 4. So let me write it down. Y minus 3 is equals to 3 by 4 into x minus 0. This is y minus 3 is equals to 3 over 4x. Or simplify, 4 is multiplying 4y minus 4 times 3 is 12 equals to 3x. Okay. Or we can arrange this as 3x minus 4y plus 12 equals to 0. This is your first equation, right? 3x is shift on the other side becomes minus and this becomes plus. Yes. Now the next thing is to figure out what is a gradient of CB. So the C coordinates are 3 minus 1 and the B coordinates are 0 minus 5. Gradient of CB. Again y2 minus y1, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and this is minus 5 plus 1 over negative 3, and that gradient is negative 4 over negative 3. This is 4 by 3. Okay. So if the gradient of CB is this, then what is a gradient of tangent? Gradient of tangent at point B, this is negative and the reciprocal, which is 3 by 4, because tangent is again perpendicular to the radius. Okay, if I can draw this is a radius, and these the radius and this tangent line are perpendicular. Now let me find out the equation of tangent at point B. So equation of tangent at B, which is 0 and minus 5. So equation of tangent has a formula y minus y naught is equals to m into x minus x naught. X naught is 0, y naught is minus 5, and this is m. Y minus y naught is minus 5, m value is minus 3 by 4, and x minus 0. So this is y plus 5 is equals to minus 3 by 4x. So cross multiplied with 4, 4y, and 4 times 5 is 20. And this is minus 3x. Okay, shift all the terms over here. So we can say minus 3x minus 4y minus 20. This is equals to 0. This is my second equation. Now we have the equation of tangent at point B and equation of tangent at point A. We need to find the point where the two tangent lines intersect, the point of intersection, right? So now we can say point of intersection of tangents, tangent lines at point A and B. Let me write down both tangent lines. 3x minus 4y plus 12 equals to 0, and the other tangent line is minus 3x minus 4y minus 20 equals to 0. Okay, it is better to add up the two equations. So when we add the two equations, this is cancelled out. Minus 4 is minus 8y, and we have minus from 20 take away 12 is negative 8. Okay, so from here minus 8y equals to positive 8. So y would be equals to 8 over minus 8. This is minus 1. So the y coordinate is negative 1. When y coordinate is negative 1, just substitute. Put y equals to minus 1 in equation 1 or 2. I'm substituting into 1. You can also put it into 2. This is up to you. So the equation 1 is 3x minus 4y plus 12 equals to 0, right? So 3x plus 4 plus 12, 3x plus 16 equals to 0. So 3x is equals to minus 16. So x would be equals to negative 16 over 3. This is x coordinate. This implies the coordinates of coordinates of P, the P coordinates are x coordinate is minus 16 over 3 and the y coordinate is negative 1. So these are the coordinates of the point P where the two tangent intersect. Question number 9. The diagram shows the curve with equation. We have given the equation of the curve. Part A. Find the equation of tangent to the curve at the point where x is 3. Give your answer in the form ax plus by plus c equals to 0, where a, b, and c are integers. Okay, so we have to find the equation of tangent to the curve at point where x is 3. So when x is 3, what is the y value? When x is equals to 3, we have to solve for y. So the y value is root 2 into 3 cube plus 10. And this is 3 cube times by 2 plus 10, and root answer is 8. Y value is 8. When x is 3, this is basically plus minus 8. So we have to pick a positive 8 because when x value is 3, the y value is 8 over here. This is 8. So when x is 3, the y value is 8. We have to find the equation of tangent at this point. So we have the coordinates of xy, which is 3, 8. Okay. Now for equation of tangent, we need a point and we need the gradient, right, at the given point. So let me solve for the gradient dy over dx. So first the power, the base function power is 1 by 2 plus 1, multiply the derivative of the base function. 2 is as it is, derivative of x cube is 3x square, and the 10 is a constant term, its derivative is 0, right? So this 2 and this 2 is cancelled out. We are left with 3x square with 2x cube plus 10 to the power 3 by 2. This is the derivative. Sorry, this is power minus 1. I can mix this up with the derivative of integration. Because in power rule of integration, we have to do power minus 1. Sorry, power rule of differentiation. Yes, it's power minus 1. For integration, it is power plus 1. So 1 by 2 minus 1 is minus 1 by 2. Or we can further simplify this dy over dx. This becomes 3x square over 2x cube plus 10 to the power 1 by 2. 3x square over square root of 2x cube plus 10. This is the derivative. Now we need to figure out what is the derivative dy over dx at x is equals to 3. Okay, so 3 into 3 square over root 2 into 3 cube plus 10. 2 into 3 cube plus 10, we have done this value is 8. So 3 cube is 27, 27 out of 8. Yeah, that is the gradient. Now the equation of tangent. Equation of tangent becomes y minus y naught is equals to m into x minus x naught. This is your m value and this value is your x naught and y naught. Alright, so y minus y naught is equals to m value is 27 over 8 into x minus x naught is 3. We have to convert it into form ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Okay, where a, b, c are integers. Alright, let me cross multiply it with 8. 8 is multiplying with y minus 8 and 27 is multiplying with x minus 3. So 8 times y, 8 times 8 is 64. This is 27x and 27 times 3 is 81, I guess. Yes, minus 81. Okay. So we have 0 over here, 27x minus 81, shift these terms, plus 64 and minus 8y. Okay. Or we can say 27x minus 8y, 64 minus 81 minus 17. This is equals to 0. Now this equation is in the form ax plus by plus c equals to 0. A is 27, b is minus 8, and c is negative 16, 17. And these are all the integers. That is the equation of tangent. Now for part B, the shaded region in the diagram is enclosed. This is a shaded region in the diagram. It is enclosed by the curve and the straight lines x is equals to 1, x is equals to 3, and y equals to 0. The curve x equals to 1, x equals to 3, and y equals to 0. Okay, find the volume of a solid obtained when the shaded region is rotated about 360 degree about the x-axis. Okay, so about the x-axis, so volume at x-axis is integration from a to b pi y square dx. That is the formula. Okay, so what is a and b? A and b are x equals to 1 and x is equals to 3. You guys can see this is the value for a, this is a value for b, and this is your x y value. So take it square, right? So volume at x is integration from 1 to 3 pi. The y value is square root of 2x cube plus 10. Take its whole square and dx. So square and the square root is cancelled out. We are left with volume at x is integration from 1 to 3 pi into 2x cube plus 10 dx. Okay, now let me simplify. Volume at x is pi is outside, so 2x cube integration is x to the power 4 over 4 plus 10x and from 1 to 3. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. So here we have pi x4 over 2 plus 10x from 1 to 3. So apply limits. Let me apply the upper and the lower limit. So the volume becomes pi. The upper limit is 3 to the power 4 over 2 plus 10 to 10 into 3. This is the upper limit. Subtract the lower limit is 1 to the power 4 over 2 plus 10 into 1. This is the lower limit. Okay. So volume becomes pi as it is. 10 to the power 4 over 3. Sorry, 3 to the power 4 divided by 2 is 81 over 2 plus 10 times 3 is 30 minus 1 over 2. 10 times 1 is 10. Okay, plus 30. This is 141 over 2 and 1 by 2 plus 10 is 21 over 2, so minus 21 over 2. Okay, 141 minus 21 is 120 divided by 2 is 60. So volume is 60 pi. Keep it as it is or you can convert it into decimal. Both are okay. Question number 10. The geometric progression A1, A2, A3 has the first term 2. The first term is 2 and the common ratio r, where r is greater than 0. It's positive, to keep it in mind. It is given that 9 by 2a5 plus 7a cube is 8. Find the value of r. It is a geometric progression. So the term formula for geometric progression, the nth term is a r to the power n minus 1. So we need to find the fifth term and the third term. So 9 over 5, 9 over 2, the fifth term, plus 7, the third term. This is equals to 8. Okay. Okay, so this is 9 over 2. The fifth term is a r to the power 4 plus 7. The third term is a r square. This is equals to 8. Let me solve for the r value. 9 over 2, the first term a value is 2. So 2r4 plus 7, 2r square equals to 8. Okay. So this 2 and 2 is cancelled out. 9r to the power 4 plus 7 times 2 is 14r square minus 8 equals to 0. So this is a quadratic equation basically. So here we can let t value is r square. Okay. So when t is r square, so what is t square, which is r to the power 4? So 9t square plus 14t minus 8 equals to 0. So this is a quadratic equation in t. So let me factorize it. 9 times 8, 72. And if we can say how we can get 72. 4 times 18 is 72, and 18 minus 4 is 14. Okay, 9 times minus 8 is minus 72. 4 times 18 is minus 72, negative 4. Minus 4 and plus 18 is 14. Break the midterm. 9t square minus 4t plus 18t minus 8 equals to 0. Let me take t common. We are left with 9t minus 4. Okay. And let me take negative. No, it's positive. 2. We can take 2 common. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4. Yes. 2 times 9 is 18t, and 2 times 2 times 4 is 8. Now the brackets are same. 9t minus 4 is the factor, and we have t plus 2 is the factor equals to 0. Let me do the remaining steps. Now 9t minus 4 is equals to 0, or we can say t plus 2 is equals to 0. From here, 9t would be equals to positive 4, and t value is 4 over 9. And here the t value is negative 2. And as you can know, we know that the t values are square. So put it back. Okay. This implies r square is 4 over 9, and r square is negative 2. Okay. Let me solve for r taking a square root on both sides. Okay. So here the r value is plus minus 2 over 3. And here the r value is root of minus 2. Root of minus 2 is a complex number. So at that stage, we are not dealing with a complex number. We only need the real roots, right? Since r is greater than 0, we have given in the beginning of the question that r should be greater than 0. So what value of r we are going to select, which is 2 by 3, not negative 2 by 3. It's a positive 2 by 3. So this is the value for the common ratio. Now for part B, find the sum of the first 20 terms of the geometric progression. Give your answer correct to 4 significant figures. For geometric progression, the sum formula is Sn is equals to A into 1 minus r to the power n over 1 minus r. So A value we have given is 2, and the r value we got is 2 by 3. Okay, and the n value is 20. So just simplify. S20 is A into 1 minus r 2 by 3. Okay, keep it as it is. To the power 10, 20, sorry, over 1 minus 2 by 3. So S20 is equals to 2 by 3 to the power of 20. Okay, and 1 subtract answer, multiply by 2, 1.9999. 1, 2, 3. Okay, divides. This is 3, and 3 minus 2 is 1 over 1 by 3 divided by 1 over 3. 5.9981. S20 is 5 0.998 up to four significant figures. This is first, second, third, and fourth significant figure. So this is a sum up to four significant figures. Now for part C, find the sum to infinity of the progression A2, A5, A8, and so on. Okay, so A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and so on. This is arithmetic progression. We have given the A, and A, the first term is 2, and the common ratio we got is 2 by 3. Now let me figure out what is A2, A3, A2, A5, and A8. So A2 is AR, A5 is AR to the power 4, and A8 is AR to the power 7. A value is 2 and R value is 2 by 3. Here this is 4 over 3. Here A value is 2 and the R is 2 over 3 to the power 4. Again 2 and 2 over 3 to the power 7. Okay. So we can 2 by 3 to the power 4 and multiply by 2 is 32 over 81. Okay. And we have 2 over 3 to the power of 7 multiplied by 2 is 256 over 2187. All right. Now find the sum to infinity of the progression. The first term is your A2, the second term is your A5, the third term is your A8, and so on. Okay, it is given that it's a geometric progression, right? Now the sum to infinity has a formula. S infinity is equals to A over 1 minus R. Now what is your A? As you guys can see, A is the first term. Now A is basically 4 over 3. And what is your R? R is the second over first term. The second term is 32 over 81. This is divided by 4 over 3. This is your R. 32 over 81 divides 4 by 3. 8 over 27, and this value lies between minus 1 and plus 1. For sum to infinity, the R value should be between 1 and minus 1. Okay. So let me write down everything. So S infinity is A is 4 over 3 over 1 minus R is 8 over 27. Okay. 1 minus 8 over 27 is 19 over 27. So S infinity is 4 by 3 over 19 over 27. 4 by 3 divided by answer is 39 over 19. So 36 over 19. S infinity is 36 over 19. Question number 11. The function f is defined by f of x as a quadratic function for x belongs to all real numbers. Part A. By completing the square, find the range of f. Okay, apply completing square method first. So for completing square method, let me write down the function f of x, which is minus x square plus 6x plus 10. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c. Now for completing square method, the first thing is to take the coefficient of x square common from the first term and from the second term, and the third term is outside. Okay, now in the next step you have to take the coefficient of x, which is negative 6, divide it by 2, and this becomes minus 3. Take it square, and the square answer is 9. So you have to add and subtract 9 inside the bracket. Minus 1 x square minus 6x plus 9 minus 9, and plus 10 is outside. Now combine the first three terms, and minus 1 with minus 9 is outside and plus 10. Okay. Now this is minus 1 and this is x minus 3 whole square. A square minus 2ab plus b square is a minus b whole square. This is plus 9 plus 10 minus x minus 3 whole square plus 19. This is the completing square method, or we can say the vertex form of a quadratic equation. Okay, so we know that the range of vertex form is always less than equals to or greater than equals to. The less than equals to and greater than equals to, this depends on the leading coefficient sign. So the sign of leading coefficient is negative, so it is less than equals to. If it is positive, it is greater than equals to. Y coordinate of vertex. Okay, now in this, what is a vertex? The vertex is 3 and 19. This is the vertex. This is in the form of a x minus b whole square plus c. So b and c is the vertex. The a value is negative 1. Okay. Now here we can say the range of the function f is a value is negative, so it is less than equals to the y coordinate of the vertex, which is 19. That is the solution. The function g is defined by, we have g of x for x belongs to real number where k is a constant. Part A, it is given that the graph of y equals to g inverse f of x meets the graph of y equals to g of x at a single point. Okay, so this function and this function meet at a single point. It means the discriminant equals to 0, right? One point of intersection. Find the coordinates of P. That single point we need to find out their coordinates. Okay, so first we need to find g inverse of x. That is my first step. For g inverse of x, we need to put y equals to the function g of x, which is 4x plus k. Then switch the variables x equals to 4y plus k, and then solve for y. So x minus k divide by 4. This is your y, or we can say g inverse of x. Now we got g inverse of x, right? So the first function is now y equals to g inverse f of x. Y is equals to g inverse f of x. Y is equals to g inverse, what is f of x? F of x is given, which is 10 plus 6x minus x square, or we can write this form of f of x. Okay, it is better to write down the standard form 10 plus 6x minus x square. Okay, now what is y? Y equals to g inverse of this. So g inverse of this is this term minus k over 4. Okay, so 10 plus 6x minus x square minus k over 4. This is the whole x minus k over 4, right? So let me solve for y. Okay, so y would be equals to, okay, so minus x square plus 6x, and the constant term is 10 minus k divided by 4. This is your y. That is my first equation. And we have another y equals to g of x. It is given that the graph of y equals to g inverse f of x meets the graph of y equals to g of x. So y equals to g of x is 4x plus k. This is my second equation. Okay, now the next step is point of intersection of equation 1 and equation 2. Put them equal and find out their point of intersection. Okay. Okay, so we can say minus x square plus 6x plus 10 minus k divides 4. Okay, this is equals to 4x plus k. Cross multiplied minus x square plus 6x plus 10 minus k equals to 4 into 4x plus k. Okay, this is minus x square plus 6x plus 10 minus k equals to 4 times 4 is 16x plus 4k. All right, now shift all the terms to the left. We can say 0 would be equals to 16x plus 4k and plus x square minus 6x minus 10 plus k, and this 0 would be equals to x square, and the x terms are 16 and minus 6 becomes, from 16 take away 6 is 10x, right, with the positive sign, and the constant, these are the constant terms. 4 plus 1 is 5k minus 10, this is a constant term. Okay, so the point of intersection, we got this. There is just one point of intersection. It means its discriminant is equals to 0 for single point of intersection b square minus 4ac. This is equals to 0. So we can say b square minus 4a and c would be equals to 0. So b is a coefficient of x, which is 10, its square, minus 4, a is a coefficient of x square, which is 1, and c is a constant term 5k minus 10 equals to 0. Okay, now 10 square is 100 minus 4 into 5k minus 10, this is equals to 0. Let me solve for k here. So 100 minus 20k minus times minus is plus 40 equals to 0. So minus 20k and plus 140, this is equals to 0. And from here, minus 20k equals to minus 140. Minus is cancelled with minus. The k value is 140 over 20. So 0 is cancelled with 0. 2 times 7 is 14. From here, the k is 7. We got the value for k. Now substitute the value of k over here and find out their point of intersection. Okay, now the k value is x square plus 10x plus 5 into x k 7 minus 10, this is equals to 0. Okay, now find out the point of intersection. X square plus 10x and plus 35 minus 10 equals to 0. This is x square plus 10x plus 25 is equals to 0. We can write this down as x square plus 2 into x into 5, which is 10x, plus 5 square is 25, and that is equals to x plus 5 whole square equals to 0. Taking a square root on both sides to solve for x, so x plus 5 equals to 0. So x coordinate is minus 5. When we got the x coordinate, we can easily get the y coordinate by plugging the x into the n equation, right? Okay, now let me solve for y. Okay, you can put the x value into your g of x or g inverse f of x. This is up to you. So I'm putting into g of x 4 times x plus k. So your y equals to 4x plus k. So y equals to 4, the x is minus 5 and the k value is 7. Y equals to minus 20 plus 7. So the y coordinate is negative 13. So the coordinates of point P are, the xy coordinates are minus 5 and minus 13. So this is a single point of intersection. All right. So that was the last question of our paper. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care.